Daf Yomi, Tractate Menachot 95a, top of the page, with the words Meisvei. Meisvei, the Gemara raises an objection. Meisvei kemin kaveres hoyala batanu. V'dayme kemin tavra berubas. Ema opia dayme kemin tavra berubas. The Gemara raises an objection to the opinion of Rabbi Yochanan from another Braita. There was a mold in the oven for the showbread that was similar to a barrel made of reeds, as it was perforated to enable the bread to bake well. And in its shape, it resembled a type of rectangular tablet. This indicates that the showbread was rectangular. The Gemara answers say that the opening, meaning the upper section of the mold, resembled a type of rectangular tablet, and that the mold tapered down to a point. Tanya, Kimanda, Kimin Svina, Rokedes, Tanya Arbasni, Finchil Zavayasham. מפוצלין מרשן כבין דקרנין דוקרנין היו שסומכין בהם אס הלחם שהוא דוימה כמין ספינה רוקדס. It is taught in Brighton according to the opinion of the one who said the showboat was like a rocking boat. As it is taught in Brighton, there were 4 gold panels there on the table which split up at their upper ends so that they were like forked reed branches. The panels were forked because the bread, which resembled a type of rocking boat, was supported by them. Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi. The dilemma was raised before the sages. During the era of the tabernacle, was the showbread disqualified during the journeys of the Jewish people in the wilderness, or was it not disqualified during the journeys? When the Jewish people would travel from one place to another in the wilderness, the tabernacle would be dismantled and the table would be carried with the loaves upon it. The dilemma is about whether or not the loaves were disqualified since they left the boundaries of the sanctuary. This matter is the subject of a dispute between Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi. One says the loaves were thereby disqualified, and one says they were not disqualified. Man diamanusal dichsiv kasher yachanu ken nisau. The Gemara explains their respective reasons. The one who says the showbread was disqualified derives his opinion from a verse, as it is written with regard to the journeys. Then the tent of meeting shall journey with the camp of the Levites in the midst of the camps. As they encamp, so they shall journey, every man in his place, by their banners. Numbers 2:17. The verse juxtaposes the encampments with the journeys, indicating that just as when the tabernacle is encamped, the showbread is disqualified when it leaves the tabernacle courtyard, so too when the tabernacle journeys, the showbread is disqualified when it leaves the courtyard. The one who says the showbread was not disqualified during the journeys derives his opinion from a verse, as it is written with regard to the journeys, and upon the table of showbread they shall spread a cloth of blue, and the continual bread shall remain upon it. Numbers 4:7. The verse refers to the showbread as the continual bread, even during the journeys, indicating that as long as the loaves are on the table, they retain their sacred status. Lidach giso ma b'chaniosoi kein kiloi yatzom mimkoimoi lo mifsel apinisiosoi kilo yatzom mimkoimoi lo mifsel. The Gemara asks, but also, according to the other Amora, who maintains the showbread was not disqualified during the journeys, isn't it written, as they encamp, so shall they journey? Indicating that the showbread is disqualified when it leaves the tabernacle during its journeys. During the journeys, the Gemara replies that according to this opinion, the juxtaposition of the encampments with the journeys is interpreted in the other direction, just as when the tabernacle is encamped. If the showbread does not leave its place and remains on the table, it is not disqualified. So too, when the tabernacle journeys, if it does not leave its place on the table, it is not disqualified. Yidach nami haketiv v'lechem atamid alav yiheh ela ki yasar abdimi amar b'misudar dekuli arba lo pligi ela ki pligi b'misulak. The Gemara asks, but according to the other Amora who maintains the showbread was disqualified during the journeys, isn't it written, and the continual bread shall remain upon it, indicating that the showbread retains its sanctity as long as it is on the table? Rather, when Rabbi came from Eretz Israel to Babylonia, he said that the explanation of the dispute between Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi is different with regard to a case where the showbread is arranged on the table. Everyone agrees the showbread is not disqualified during the journey. Rather, when they disagree, it is in a case where the showbread is removed from the table before the journey. The Gemara explains their respective reasons. The one who says the showbread is disqualified derives his opinion from a verse, as it is written, "Then the tent of meeting shall journey with the camp of the Levites in the midst of the camps. As they encamp, so shall they journey, every man in his place by their banners." Numbers 2:17. The verse juxtaposes the encampments with the journeys, indicating that just as when the tabernacle is encamped, the showbread is disqualified when it leaves the tabernacle courtyard, so too, when the tabernacle journeys, the showbread is disqualified when it leaves the courtyard. According to the one who says that the showbread is not disqualified during the journeys, this is derived from a verse, as it is written, "Then the tent of meeting shall journey," indicating that even though it has journeyed, it is still considered the tent of meeting, and therefore the showbread is not disqualified. The Gemara asks, but also according to the other Amoire, who maintains the showbread was not disqualified during the journeys, isn't it written, "As they encamp, so shall they journey?" Indicating that the showbread is disqualified when it leaves the tabernacle during the journeys. The Gemara replies that according to this opinion, the juxtaposition of the encampments with the journeys is interpreted in the other direction, just as when the tabernacle is encamped. If one does not take the showbread out of the courtyard, it is not disqualified. So too, when the tabernacle journeys, if one does not take the showbread out of the courtyard, it is not disqualified. Hakasiv Nasail Moyed Ahud the Golim who they also. The Gemara asks, but also according to the other Amora who maintains the showbread was disqualified during the journeys, isn't it written, then the tent of meeting shall journey, indicating that the tent of meeting retains its sanctity during the journeys and therefore the showbread should not be disqualified? The Gemara answers that verse is not referring to the sanctity of the tent of meeting during the journeys. Rather, it comes to teach the position of the tent of meeting between the banners of the different tribes during the journeys. The Gemara asks, and according to the other Moire, from where does he derive the position of the tent of meeting during the journeys? The Gemara replies, he derives this from the continuation of the verse, with the camp of the Levites in the midst of the camps. Numbers 2:17. Meisve b'shasi luk masois kadoshim nifsolin biyotzei v'zovin u'mitzoyroin mishtalchin chutz l'michitzoson ma'ila v'afilu lechem aponim lo bar milechem aponim. The Gemara raises an objection from a Braita to the opinion that the showbread was not disqualified during the journeys at the time of the dismantling of the tabernacle in order to commence the journeys, when the curtains surrounding the tabernacle courtyard are removed. The sacrificial food is disqualified from being consumed, as it is considered to have left the tabernacle courtyard, and Zabim and lepers are sent out. Mamish this week's parsha. Zabim and lepers are sent out of the partitions of their camps. The Zabim are sent out to the Levite, out of the Levite camp, while lepers are sent out of the Israelite camp. What, is it not referring even to showbread, indicating that it is disqualified during the journeys? The Gemara answers no. The Braita means that the no. The Braita means the most sacrificial food is disqualified except for the showbread. Manavshach. The Gemara challenges this, whichever way you look at it. Manavshach. This explanation is difficult, whichever way you look at it. If the phrase, then the tent of meeting shall journey, is meant exactly, meaning literally, and it still has the status of the tent of meeting even during the journeys, then even other sacrificial food should not be disqualified during the journeys. And if the tent of meeting shall journey is not meant exactly, and does not have the status of the tent of meeting during the journeys, then even the showbread should be disqualified. Ela ki asoravin omar ma omar bimisudar umar bisulak velo pli. Rather, when Ravin came from Eretz Yisrael to Babylonia, he said that there is actually no dispute between Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi, this master who stated that the showbread is not disqualified during the journey, stated his ruling with regard to loaves that are arranged on the table. And that master who stated that the showbread is disqualified during the journeys stated his ruling with regard to loaves that were removed from the table. And the two Amorim do not disagree. Each was referring to a different case. Abaya Omar Shmami no yeshila b'masois b'layla the Yisrael g'dayich insiluk masois b'layla mas midele itzafra ma'ire mishum yotze tipgle t'ipsal le balina. The aforementioned Braita states that when the tabernacle was dismantled, the sacrificial food was disqualified, as it was considered to have left the tabernacle courtyard. Rabbi said one may conclude from the Braita that there could be a case where the dismantling of the tabernacle in order to commence the journeys would take place at night. This is a necessary conclusion, as if it should enter your mind to say that there could not be a case where the dismantling of the tabernacle in order to commence the journeys would take place at night, when would the curtains surrounding the tabernacle be removed? If they were removed right away in the morning, why was the sacrificial food disqualified specifically due to the fact that it left the tabernacle courtyard? I may derive that it was disqualified because of the fact that it was left overnight. Pshita leches yoimam belaylo ksiv mahu detemo hani midehechadakol biyamama awlecha deloiko biyamama belaylo loy motzara korish komash malon. The Gemara challenges. It is obvious that the tabernacle could be dismantled at night, as it is written, and the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of cloud to lead them the way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light, that they might go by day and by night. Exodus 13:21. The Gemara answers that Abaye's observation is necessary lest you say that this statement that they would travel at night applies only in a case where the Jewish people dismantled their camp and began to journey by day, in which case they would continue to travel at night. But in a case where they did not dismantle their camp by day, they could not dismantle the camp and leave at night. Abaye therefore teaches us that they could set out even at night. Ureminhi uglalu haparoiches hutro azavin, or zavin in brackets, umitzayroin nikonesham omer Rashi lo ikashya Rabbi Eliezer Harabanon the Tanya, and we'll stop there. The aforementioned, we'll stop after this translation and right at the end of the Amud. The aforementioned Braita teaches that even when the tabernacle was dismantled, Zavim and lepers were sent outside the camp as the sanctity of both the Levite camp and the Israelite camp remained intact, even while the tabernacle was dismantled. And the Gemara raises a contradiction from another Braita. Once the curtain surrounding the tabernacle courtyard was rolled up, the Zavim and the lepers were permitted to enter into that area where the tabernacle had stood. This indicates that the camps did not retain their sacred status once the tabernacle was dismantled. Rav Ashi said this is not difficult. This Braita is in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Eliezer, and that Braita is in accordance with the opinion of the rabbis. As is taught in Braita, we'll continue. Mitzvah Hashem next Talmud, next video.